big shark.
The big shark?
That's the daddy shark.
That's the big shark.
That's the daddy shark.
Nice.
Yeah, this is the mama shark. That's the baby shark. Baby shark, mama shark, daddy shark, grandma, and grandpa.
Nice.
That is going to make it in the video
There we
somehow.
go. Awesome.
Think so?
Somehow, bloopers.
Let's not do
It's
that.
gotta be. We've had an opportunity to chat with some giants in our industry, some legacy builders who were telling us about the history of AGC and ABC and what it was like to form TEXO and make that bold decision that has changed the landscape in the Dallas-Fort Worth industry. I've heard a lot of people across the country say Dallas-Fort Worth is just a more collaborative industry. Do you guys think that the merger 10 years ago has contributed to higher collaboration amongst specialty contractors and GCs?
I believe so, because I don't think it's an us versus them.
Right.
Like it may have been perceived, in the 90s and the early aughts. I think it's more about the betterment of the entire industry in this area. And, we're together so much. You kind of bump into somebody, like he gives me hell all the time, right? And I give it back, right?
He gives everybody
He's got this subcontractor nomenclature, and I'm allergic to that.
Yeah.
We are trade partners.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So it's not us versus them. So I think sometimes when you look at it now, but we're together, we bump into each other all the time. I mean, we do a lot of work, with TD, and it's just one of those things that you become, I think, deeper than a business relationship. You actually care about the people.
Right. Yeah.
I absolutely have to give credit to Raleigh Rousseau, and no pun intended, but he's the carpenter that built and this, of course we had to pull some strings and help him along the way, but the bottom line is he was truly the guy that pulled it all together, and the senior, I'm going to say, project manager, when everyone went to him to say, you got to make it work, Raleigh, and he did a great job influencing people. And of course you had guys like Pat O'Brien and even the Tony Raiders, and Chris was there, and Corbett, just a bunch of guys that were in there.
Definitely trailblazers.
Yeah, but trying to corral all those Type A personalities, Raleigh did a really good job.
Talk to us about your recruiting effort for the first TEXO.
The one thing I do think historically, this market, in the 20 years I've been here, when I'm grown up in Dallas.
You're not from Texas?
From back here for work.
Oh, okay.
I grew up 5 minutes from my office in North Dallas. But this is a market that I think it's the major leagues. You have the best GCs, the best trade contractors in the United States. And if you can do well here, you can do well anywhere. And I do think that the companies that are involved in both organizations back then and now together in TEXO really truly want to bring our industry up, and that's why the programs that we have at TEXO are so great. But interesting is so, like I said, Buddy and I kind of said, do you want to take this on? We knew really quickly that a young DD guy from McCarthy wasn't going to carry the water, and a first-time specialty contractor being the board member or the leader of the board of Coin wasn't going to make it. So we strategically recruited Pat O'Brien, and everybody loved Pat at the time, and still he's a beloved guy in our industry. And so that was the first thing we did, is say, Pat, we need you to champion this. And I think he was a supporter back in '95. And then we engaged Raleigh, and so we had a whole series, the four of us had a whole series of meetings through the course of 2006 of how are we going to get this to the organizations, which led to the exploratory committee and things like that. So it was a lot of breakfast and lunches.
That was a lot of interesting conversations.
So it was an interesting deal to for us to kind of get it started, and I think Buddy and I both felt that it was not our role to champion it at the front end. We needed people that had more invested presence in the industry to take it through. And it was a good handout, and to recruit Ben Houston to come back into the ABC chairmanship in 2008, because ultimately Ben, was totally instrumental in bringing the ABC folks around on it, and so that's kind of how it all kind of pulled together, and the rest is history.
The talent of the organization that you've put together is wonderful, but it's how you engage your members that's so special. It's something that's very collegial. It's fun while we're getting things done. I don't think you see that in a lot of trade associations. You can have the fun part, but nothing gets done.
Right.
And what you've been able to accomplish collectively is we can have fun and get what we need to get done accomplished. I think the future is very bright, and it will be for some time.
I feel like I was a kid that grew up in it. second generation watched in 1995 as ABC and AGC tried to merge. We had a great golf tournament together, I think a fishing tournament together, and created the Construction Education Foundation out of that. And then when I was chairman of ABC, when we still had ABC and Coin separate in 2003, Greg Wilkinson came to me and said, hey, we really need to start thinking about this again. And I think it took 4 or 5 years of thought behind all those things of what can we do to have synergy putting ABC and AGC together, or ABC and Coin at that time. And there was so much going on, and I had realized that as my father had gone before me trying to set up things for me and the industry for the benefit of the younger generation, we were beginning to set the stage for the next generation.
I think what another major positive outcome from TEXO was what goes on in Austin now. Because in Austin now, they're really collaborating on which direction to go. One of the most positive things that's happened is moving Austin in that direction. There's going to be some changes on the ABC side, as there was on AGC, so it's going to be interesting to see how the new staffs get along and move that forward. But I know Baxley will be right in the middle of that, trying to make sure that
Jack will
works the
definitely
right,
be right in the
works
middle of
right-
it.
works the right way.
That's what he does.
I think another thing it does for our industry is shows Austin that we're professionals and elevates what we do, you know, not being seen as all those people who can't get it together and they're just, you know, construction folks. Our level of professionalism and how we're seen down in Austin is a voice to be heard, one voice. Yeah.
You know, I thought, I thought from TD Industries' perspective, why we got these two organizations? They're the same. You know, we it's, you know, Ben's working on one, I'm working on the other one. Come on, we're all in this thing together, like Randy was saying, and we're friends and peers and competitors, and you know, Stephen Covey used to use the term coopetition. And I like that.
It's been so much fun to celebrate our history and think about what's taken place to form TEXO. But what really encourages me is to think about the future and where TEXO is headed. We have so much energy and so much engagement and momentum behind our initiatives, and our members are pushing them. And so my encouragement to you for the future is just to stay engaged. This is your construction association. And so you get to decide where we head as an industry and as an association. And I hope today you're encouraged by the history that we've been celebrating, but we've got amazing things with our Young Constructors Council, our safety initiatives, our Women's Executive Leadership Program, our AIA TEXO Committee. We have so many things to get involved with and to move mountains, like we've seen the legacy builders that we talked with today do.